But the basic stone here is this stuff, which is from Copacabana, which we'll actually be able to see the mountain from the top of the Acapana. And then the red sandstone we'll see near where the quarry is. It's up over top of a mountain. So the 131-ton block that's still there, they had to cut it, bring it over the mountain, drag it across to here. And the stuff from the andesite from Copacabana is supposedly on top of a mountain. That's where the quarry is. And archaeologists say that they built reed boats and threw these megalithic blocks on and sailed them down. It's like,
as you do.
Have you actually built a boat and put one of these on? No. Don't tell me what to do, because I'm an archaeologist. And the greenstone, we'll see better examples of that over there in Tiwanaku, and that is very high in copper content. So again, that might be the raw material that was used in the smelting facility over here, or it might be the first stage of product. You know, they may have had to melt it or heat it to one stage and then heat it higher to separate the different metals.
So you can see here these water channels that have been placed outside the museum, and you can see how they're andesite and they're sandstone. Very magnetic red sandstone. These were inside the Acapana pyramid and also at Puma Punku. But what it was, there was a roof put over each, like a slab, so it would trap the water as it moved through. And the electric charge would create these kind of particles in the air, which would be charged, and then when and it would trap it in there. So when you placed your seeds at a certain place, it would charge them up with that energy. And they had little waterfall dropping, and the water was moving around, so the whole water was charged, like in Victor Schauberger's idea. But also at Puma Punku, you find the same kind of water channels actually going right out into the fields. So they were this charged water, this fresh, powerful water, was irrigating their land as well. So it's like multi-purpose water irrigation system, and it charged the seeds at the same time, which guaranteed a good crop and fertility for the year. So just behind me here at Puma Punku, you can see more of these sort of sluice gates, these kind of channels where the water would run down, same as we get on the Acapana pyramid in Tiwanaku. And according to John Burke, these actually went all the way out into the fields where they were growing the crops. So it was like a complete system, not just to charge the seeds up, but to actually continue into the entire field system around Puma Punku.
That one's we took rare earth magnets and they just went boing, boing, boing.
Which one is that?
The big one in the background.
So this is a 131 ton or more sandstone block, which was brought from at least 50 miles away around Lake Titicaca. We actually saw the mountain when we drove by it a couple of days ago. But look, you can see, like on here, just stretch the rope, you see lots of little holes along the top there. I don't know if you can't really see them here, but I'll try and zoom in so at least we can have a look on camera. And you can see along the top there's like lots of little drill holes, and these, I think, is where they would have placed gold over the top of it, and so it'd be like the Coricancha. And it's the same idea of, like, it would also transmit energy around the site.
On that one?
The same with the clamps. So at the very top there, there's a better one over there I think we can look at. Also noticed along this very large piece of rock here, you can just see it, there's scoop marks. Now this is remarkably similar to what we saw on the outer edge of the Temple of the Three Windows at Machu Picchu, as well as Ollantaytambo and other sites. So this just shows you that the technique that was used here was also used at these other sites, which quite possibly could have been influenced by the Tiwanaku culture, or whoever built these sites. You're right, so on this large, very large rock, which is at least 131 ton, and the one next to it, these huge keystone cuts, very big ones, right next to the spirals, and several over that side as well, and along this one. And Kevin just pointed out, very large, possibly the whole length of that could be a keystone cut. Maybe that was possibly to hold it together, but quite possibly to actually generate energy around the whole site. We're just standing on the top of the Puma Punku pyramid. Now there, that green grassy knoll in the distance, actually the edge of the pyramid, and it would have been like a port onto the lake, because beyond that, in ancient times, the lake would have come up that far. And you can see along the edge here, just about the edges of the lower levels of the pyramid, where it would have gone into the lake. This is also where they probably would have taken water from for cultivation, or they could have also had spring water coming down from the mountains in the area.
So one of the most intriguing things about Puma Punku and Tiwanaku is the source of the stone. The red sandstone comes from behind that mountain over there. And the gray andesite comes from that mountain way in the distance. That's at least 50 kilometers away.
These steps here, down at the sort of lower level of Puma Punku, going up to the top there, are some original steps that have been extremely weathered by either the water that may have flooded the area to cause the cataclysm, or just simply by age. There's no way I can see that these are just a few hundred years old. They look much, much older. So just behind me you can see one of the water channels. And this would have had water coming down at very fast speed. You can see the way the rocks on top of it are actually kind of compressing it, so it keep the trapped charged particles in there. It's also got the keystone cuts. Now you wouldn't really need keystone cuts unless, because the stones would have stayed together, I'm sure, if they were built correctly. So I think they were used definitely for energy, transference of energy through the copper or bronze or the orichalcum or whatever they used. And this is a fine example of what John Burke talks about in his book, Seed of Knowledge, Stone of Plenty, where he's very convincing argument that this whole site, including the Akapana pyramid, but also here at Puma Punku, was, a generator for energy to create and charge up seeds, to increase fertility of the crops. But with these channels, they often go down right into the fields around them, which is equally fascinating, suggesting the charged water was being used. You can see evidence of where water has moved down these channels, which does give good evidence that indeed they were used for that purpose. What's also interesting here is the fact that we have the andesite blocks right next to the red sandstone, the magnetic red sandstone, then andesite again. So we have alternative stone, different types of stone, which could have again created an energetic effect throughout the whole system here at Puma Punku.